During an interview with Steve Bannon on Tuesday of this week, Sidney Powell, the infamous Kraken lawyer that's being sued for $1.3 billion by Dominion Voting Systems, is out there with a new conspiracy. And this one has nothing to do with the 2020 election, if you can believe it. Her new conspiracy is that the entire Capitol Riot of January 6th was in fact an FBI setup. I'm going to read a couple of quotes from Sidney Powell from this interview that she did yesterday with Steve Bannon. Here it is. The entire thing was an FBI setup. I think Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Louis Gohmert are the only ones trying to draw attention to this. I think the FBI, as it has done in so many cases in the last I don't know how many years, had infiltrated certain groups and had a significant effect in pushing this narrative of Trump supporters storming the Capitol. Pushing the narrative of Trump supporters. We know those were Trump supporters. We actually do know that because you can go through their social media feeds. You can actually also, by the way, look at where they were before they stormed the Capitol at the Stop the Steal rally. The FBI didn't set that up. That was organized by a lot of individuals, one of them, of course, being Ali Alexander and a couple of other conservative operatives. You know, that wasn't the FBI. And I have to imagine those guys would be fairly offended if you try to give all the credit to the FBI and not to them. She continues here. I think it's an abject setup by the FBI to try to entrap Trump supporters and foment this whole, quote, insurrection narrative that we all know is not true. None of the, quote, felonies that these people being charged with are valid. How is this woman still allowed to practice law? Like, why have the state bar associations in any state where she is a licensed practicing attorney, why have they not stripped her of her legal license? This woman is not a lawyer. She is a nuisance. She is making a mockery of the law, not just here, but also with all those fictitious lawsuits she filed. This absolutely blows my mind that this woman has not been disciplined by these bar associations. They need to remove her immediately because either one, she's abusing the judicial system for, personal gain, or two, she's a complete whack job. It all depends on whether or not she actually believes the conspiracies that she's actually out there peddling. And of course, she was saying all this to Steve Bannon, who wholeheartedly agreed with her, thought everything she was saying was a statement of fact. But again, there's no facts to back this up. Hell, even the FBI came out and said, hey, listen, look, there's no evidence that all of this was a coordinated attack. The FBI, if anything, kind of gave them some clearance. Cleared a hell of a lot of Republican operatives from having any kind of blame with this idiotic statement the FBI came out with late last week. Because that's what that statement does, by the way. If this federal agency determined that there was no unified collusion, I guess you would call it, then you really can't charge any of the organizers with that crime. So the FBI has done nothing but help out these individuals, Sidney. But you're still out there making stuff up. You're still out there claiming, oh, these people are being mistreated. That's why you brought up Gaetz and Greene and Gohmert. Because they're out there trying to push that narrative as well. They were not just randomly charged with felonies. In fact, a lot of them have had their cases downgraded down to misdemeanors. A lot of them are getting away with it. And the judges are actually getting kind of pissed at prosecutors for doing that, which we've also talked about. Everything that came out of Sidney Powell's mouth was a lie. Everything in this interview that I just read you was a lie. The question is, does she know that, or has she been sucked into her own delusions? Either way, she needs to be disbarred. She should not be taken seriously. But because of people like Steve Bannon on Real America's Voice, she's still given a microphone put in front of an audience to spread her lies and conspiracy theories.